What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and it's a battle of the big old phones. When it comes to phablet devices, there's one on the market, the Samsung Galaxy Note 2, but there's one that's pretty close, but the company that makes it is adamant that it's just a big smartphone. It's not a tablet phone. That phone is the HTC DROID DNA. We're pitting it together in a dogfight against the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. Specs-wise, both have quad-core processors. Both have big displays, 4G LTE over here. On T-Mobile, this one has HSPA+, and they're both packing Android 4.1. Which one's going to come out on top in the dogfight? We're going to take a look, but first, special thanks to our friends at Best Buy Mobile for giving us devices like the DROID DNA and like the Galaxy Note 2 for use in our One Paul Bandit giveaway game, which we give to you on the site at instantwin.phonedog.com. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile to get either of these devices, you won't deal with rebates. I hate paperwork. You probably do too, unless you're weird. I mean, I guess we're all kind of weird in some ways, but you probably don't like paperwork. At Best Buy Mobile, you won't deal with that, or waiting 8 to 10 weeks for a debit card. You'll walk out the door with the after rebate costs already in your pocket. Let's take a look. DROID DNA, Galaxy Note 2. Which one's the best? It's dogfight time, and it starts right now. We got two hot Android devices right here on the desk in front of us, and you know what? I'd say on the desk in front of me, but you're watching this too, so it's kind of like a family affair of watching these two hot Android phones. One is the HTC DROID DNA. It's available now at Verizon Wireless for $200. It's HTC's flagship phone for the fall and winter of 2012. It's packing some killer specifications. When HTC announced this, they said they were trying to create next year's device and take the specs of next year, but put it into a device this year. It's like they were trying to time travel, say that 3 times fast on camera, trying to time travel, bring those specs back to 2012, and put them in a device that's available this holiday season. I think in a lot of ways, they actually succeeded with this. It's packing a 1.5 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon S4 Pro CPU. So quad-core processor on this device. It's got, and hear me out when I say this, a 5-inch 1080p HD display. 1080p, the first mobile device in the US to have a 1080p HD display. Other specs include an 8 megapixel camera with 1080p HD recording. Lots of P's on this device. 1080p here, 1080p there, 1080p everywhere. And I'm not going to stop doing voice impersonations for the rest of the video. You have my word for the most part, unless I cross my fingers, which you'll never know until the end of the video. 2020 milliamp hour non-removable battery on this device. Android 4.1, also known as Jelly Bean, with HTC Sense version 4 Plus. So a new version of Android, at least comparatively speaking, a new version of Sense 4 Plus, a new body that has red accents, typical Verizon look and feel with the color scheme here, 4G LTE device that's ready to hit Verizon and is actually there now and hopefully selling pretty well. It's not a tablet though. HTC has made it pretty clear that they were looking to build a really, really big smartphone, not a really, really small tablet. This, on the other hand, is intended to be a tablet-smartphone hybrid. This is the Galaxy Note 2, made by Samsung, packing some killer specifications as well, including a 1.6 gigahertz quad-core Exynos processor. It's got a 5.5-inch Super AMOLED HD display, although this display is only 720p. It's got an 8 megapixel camera on the back with 1080p HD recording, a 3,100 milliamp hour battery that fortunately is removable, so you can carry around multiple batteries and remove those as you see fit. Where this one wins, not only does it have Android 4.1 with Samsung's TouchWiz user interface, what it also has is a pretty cool feature called an S Pen, where you can remove it. It's been built upon from the original Galaxy Note, and you've got the ability to do some content creation on the screen of this device. So it really is a tablet-smartphone hybrid, whereas this is more of a big smartphone. Let's dive in and take a look at what makes these devices different and how they're similar. Let's take a look starting over here. HTC DROID DNA packing Android 4.1. Out of the box, you do get some Verizon stuff, as you would expect. And stuff including Amazon MP3, Amex Serve, Audible, just bloatware, be it Google or be it Verizon. You do get some stuff out of the gate here on this device. Google Plus integration, of course, IMDb over here. You get My Verizon Mobile Hotspot, Play Movies, Google integration there. Reign of a Mirror, which is actually a pretty decent game. I showed that off in my Google Plus unboxing hangout that I did for Verizon a couple of days ago. Visual voicemail, Verizon Tones, VZ Navigator, and more. And of course, you can access your Verizon app just by scrolling over and clicking right there. Now, I will say this one fits really well in the hand. The one issue I've had with the Galaxy Note 2, and I carried it for 30 days as part of a 30-day challenge, it is a little bit hard to hold in the hand. The DROID DNA, on the other hand, it's a big phone, don't get me wrong. When you take a look at this in comparison to something like, let's say, the Spectrum 2, though, you can see it's kind of around the same size. So even though it's got a 5-inch display, it's kind of pushing it in terms of display size, but it's still pocketable. It's got a nice rounded feel on the back. Much easier to hold in the hand than the Note 2. That said, the Note 2 is much easier to hold in the hand than the Note 1 because what they did, they kept it around the same size. They just made it taller. So it's got a bigger display. It's a 5.5-inch Super AMOLED HD display. It has more of a taller and narrower feel to it. So it is a little bit easier to hold in the hand. With the original Note, for example, I couldn't get my hand around the device and wrap my fingers around it. With this one, it's a stretch, but I can do it over here. Still, it's a big device, and it's going to be hard to fit in pockets. If you wear skinny jeans, if you're a female, you may have some issues putting this in your pockets. That said, this is your smartphone. This is a super big smartphone. Over here, though, you do get some T-Mobile stuff out of the gate as well, and I should clarify that this is the T-Mobile version that I'm working with in the dogfight. Unfortunately, I don't have a Verizon review unit just yet, but you've got All Share Play, Amazon out of the box. You've got a couple of other things as well. Game Hub, which is a Samsung thing, so you do get your hubs here, and I think Samsung is really working hard, as is HTC, to create a mobile ecosystem, so you're not just getting Google Play, but you're also getting Samsung services or HTC services in addition to the services from Google and to the services from perhaps the carrier rather, like Verizon or T-Mobile. So over here, mobile hotspot, Need for Speed Mobile, we've got Paper Artist, which I believe is a Samsung thing actually, but I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me there. Samsung apps, which clearly is a Samsung thing. And then you get a slew of T-Mobile stuff over here on the final apps page. T-Mobile My Account, Name ID, T-Mobile TV, Visual Voicemail, Zynga Games, and more. And then, of course, some applications that I've downloaded. Now, look and feel here, it's kind of funny because both of these are packing Android 4.1. So theoretically, they're packing almost the exact same software build. Why they look so different is because HTC and Samsung have custom user interfaces, or custom skins, if you will, on top. Sense 4 Plus over here, TouchWiz over here, and this one is a continuation of the TouchWiz user interface that's found on the Samsung Galaxy S3. It's got that kind of nature look and feel. You'll notice when you turn it off and back on, you see the ripples of the water, so it's got that same look. And I'm going to turn the sound back on so you can hear that. And you can hear it from like the sound, nature, water, pebbles, that's kind of what they're going for here. Over here you don't get those sounds, it's more like vibrations. HTC, I don't know what they call it, but it's definitely not nature user interface. It's just Sense 4 Plus over here. So Android 4.1, you can see in the notifications bars, just some differences here between the look and feel. The Wi-Fi off area, standard with Verizon devices, and I don't want to spend too much time in this, but you can see over here, for example, one of my favorite things about Samsung's TouchWiz UI is that you get some quick and easy shortcuts up in the top. Things like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, sound, screen rotation, so you get easy access to things like this as you can see fit. So let's say you need airplane mode. Let's say you need all share cast. Let's say you need driving mode, or perhaps you want something like power saving, or you use Wi-Fi on a regular basis. You got easy access to those, as well as the brightness indicator over here on this side. Now both of these have Android 4.1. You can see it's telling me my traffic to home right now from my house to my office in North Dallas. So I've got that ability. You've got that ability over here as well. Google Now, easily accessible. Pressing the home button over on the DNA, and then over here by pressing and holding, and then pressing Google Now right there. So you got quick and easy access either way. Now I want to quickly load up text messaging here, and I'm going to do that. And actually, this is a demo phone number that I have, so that one is not a real phone number. Let me pull this one away though, because some viewers have been writing, because this demo phone number is this. So some viewers have been reaching out and sending me text messages. So I want to make sure their numbers stay off camera. 5.5-inch display, 5-inch display. You really do see a difference, even though it's only 0.5 inches difference between these two devices. You see a pretty big difference in screen real estate. So if you're somebody that likes content creation, you're big on watching YouTube, you're big on browsing the web, you're big on doing whatever, listening to music, you just want a big screen so you can see the most, you're probably going to want to go with the Note 2, just because I do notice a difference between the screen size. That said, the overall clarity of the screen is far better than the Galaxy Note 2. So if you're looking for the most crisp picture quality between these two, the DROID DNA is your device. If you're looking for the bigger device, and granted this is an HD display, but it's 720p, and it is, I should say 720p, you may want to go with the DROID DNA. So keep that in mind. Here's our text messaging prompts. You can see both stock keyboards. You've got the Sense keyboard over here. You've got Samsung's custom keyboard over here. And then you do get a couple of different options, as you can see on both of these devices. You get swipe over here. You get Google Voice typing. Over on this one, you just get HTC Sense and Google Voice. But with both of these devices, you can go to the Google Play Store and download additional keyboards, things like SwiftKey, my personal favorite Android 4.2 keyboard, which is by a developer named John T.A.M.I. So that's something that's nice as well if you don't like the keyboards. I will say my favorite new keyboard right now is the HTC Sense keyboard. For a stock keyboard, it is absolutely incredible and easy to type on. So we'll say the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. We'll do it standard here. We won't really mix it up like we typically do. We'll do the standard thing to exercise the full keyboard. And overall, typing really quick, really easy on this device. Quad-core processor working incredibly well. The biggest issue here is there's no expandable storage. It's 16 gigabytes, and the actual formatted capacity is about 11 gigabytes. Unfortunately, once you get to 11 gigabytes, you got to rely on cloud storage. Now, HTC would be quick to tell you, and Verizon would be quick to tell you, you know what? Cloud storage is a big thing right now, but still, I see maybe an issue with that, given the fact that we've got tiered data now, and you can only download and only upload so much before you reach your capacity when it comes to your data plan. That said, you may want to stay close to that Wi-Fi spot if you do get close to 11 gigabytes because you're going to be uploading to the cloud quite a bit. Over here, 16 gigabytes, but you do have a micro SD card slot on the back so you can expand that out. Samsung's keyboard, I've been pretty bold about this since Samsung stuff has come out. Not a fan of their stock keyboard. Download an alternative. You may love it, but I'd be remiss rather if I didn't recommend downloading an alternative keyboard. So click here, for example, and you can of course do the speak stuff. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. You got the option over here as well, but then I can of course use the S Pen. And you'll notice that when the S Pen is removed, and we'll talk about this more in part 2 when we get into the real nitty-gritty of the customizations, you'll find that the S Pen icon is up here, so I can see S Pen has been detached. And then I have some recommended shortcuts as well. So this device, Android 4.1 combined with TouchWiz, they've made it work really well with the S Pen. They've made a really great ecosystem we'll talk more about in part 2. But over here, 5-inch display, no external input like an S Pen, but incredible keyboard. Over here, not a fan of the Samsung keyboard. I'd recommend an alternative, but you can of course use it like this, and you can use their built-in kind of swipe alternative using either the pen, or you can go in and select it where you're writing with the pen. Stay tuned for part 2. We're going to talk about the features of the S Pen. We're going to talk about some goodies that this device has, and from a software standpoint, what distinguishes these two devices. Stay tuned. What you get on this device is a wealth of personalization, and there are some things I absolutely love on both of these devices when it comes to personalization choices. For example, in messaging, one of my favorites, and I'll show you a text message so you can kind of see what it's like, but you can see, for example, this message that a fan sent me, I can do crazy backgrounds, customize my own background, and do colors, so I can change the text boxes and more, but you can do that over here as well. So I'll go into this sample one that I did. For example, I can come into menu and I can personalize the text message. So for example, with background, I can change around the background of the text itself. I can make it a wood background. Then I can come in and go back to personalization, change the colors as well. So you get a lot of choice on this device. So you know what? It may come out of the box with different colors. You can change it around and really make it your own. And that's something I like here. Beats Audio, also a big pro over on the HTC DROID DNA. And we'll do personalization as well, just so you can see. And we'll see the skins here. We've got a bunch of different skin choices on this device. Aluminum is what I have selected. HTC is what comes on it out of the box. But I can change it around. One of my favorites is graphite. And you can see, really make this device your own, change it around, make it kind of look funky, and do your themes where it makes it a whole different looking device with a different look, a different feel, and a different color. So love the personalization choices over here. I will argue as well that HTC has a great widget implementation. I can press and hold the home screen and scroll pretty easily between my 7 home screens and just drag and drop widgets as I see fit on the ones that are available. When I click on something, it'll tell me the ones that don't have space. Love that rollout of that. Very easy to use, and that's something that I think HTC does incredibly well. Let's finish it out by doing a speed test on this device. So I'll load up speed test on this. I'll load up speed test over here on this device. And let's do settings, and let's take a look. And so many settings in here I'm not even able to cover given the time constraints. But be sure to take a look at the reviews of both of these devices for more information on all of the software features and goodies. Do speed test over here. HSPA Plus on T-Mobile, 4G LTE on Verizon. We'll do Fort Worth. Let's see what we've got over here. We'll just load it up and begin. Not Denver. Let's see what we've got here. And unfortunately, it looks like we're running out of time, so I'm going to have to just roll with it. Begin test on both of these devices. 4G LTE, HSPA Plus, speeds have been relatively decent on both of these devices. And as this is running, I'm going to go ahead and do the sign out because we're actually running out of time in this video. It's a tough dogfight like any of them because they're both incredible devices that really appeal to two different types of people. And there are features that I'm not able to cover given the time constraints in these videos. A ton of cool features. Things over here like the browser. Things over here like pop-out video where I can watch a video and take notes. And I've got some great productivity tools over on the Galaxy Note 2 with Android 4.1. That said, if you want a phone that really feels like a phone with the power of Verizon's 4G LTE with a 1080p HD display, this is going to be your device. If you're looking for something that's more of a tablet smartphone hybrid, maybe you watch a lot of videos, maybe you draw a lot of stuff and send it to your friends and you want screenshots to draw on, this is going to be your device. The winner of the dogfight is the Galaxy Note 2 just because of the features it packs. all around, it's the best packaged device between these two. That said, this is by far the best HTC device I've reviewed this year. They did an incredible job with this, yet it needs more storage. Battery life's been surprisingly decent. Actually, on both of these devices, incredible over here. Standby's been good on this one, but that said, the draw goes to the Galaxy Note 2. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage on both of these devices. 13 megabits per second on the download here, 10 megabits per second on the download over here. Hit me up on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, Aaron C. Baker on the personal account. Let me know what you think of these devices and more